Today our topic is how to stop complaining, the Stoic challenge. Complaining is something we all do, but it doesn't really help us. In fact, it often makes things worse. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, teaches us how to deal with life's challenges without complaining. The Stoic challenge is about facing difficulties with strength and calmness. Let's talk about how we can stop complaining and live a better life. First, let's understand why we complain. We complain because we feel that things should be different. We think life should be easier, people should be nicer, and the world should be fair. But the truth is, life is not always easy, people are not always nice, and the world is not always fair. Complaining about these things doesn't change them. Instead, it makes us feel more frustrated and unhappy. Stoicism teaches us to accept the things we cannot change and focus on what we can control. This is the first step to stop complaining. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This means that we can't always control what happens in life, but we can control how we respond to it. For example, if it rains on the day you planned a picnic, you can't change the weather, but you can change your reaction. Instead of complaining, you can find something else to do, like reading a book or watching a movie. By focusing on what you can control, you take away the power of the situation to upset you. Another Stoic idea is to see challenges as opportunities. When something difficult happens, instead of complaining, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or, how can I grow stronger? For example, if you lose your job, instead of complaining about how unfair it is, you can see it as a chance to find a better job or learn new skills. The Stoics believe that every challenge is a test of our character. By facing challenges with courage and patience, we become stronger and wiser. One of the most important Stoic practices is to prepare for difficulties in advance. This is called Premeditatio malorum, which means thinking about the bad things that could happen. By imagining the worst-case scenarios, we become less afraid of them. For example, if you imagine losing your phone, you might feel less upset when it actually happens because you've already thought about it. This practice helps us stay calm and focused when things go wrong, instead of complaining or panicking. Another way to stop complaining is to practice gratitude. The Stoics believe that we should be thankful for what we have, instead of focusing on what we don't have. When we complain, we are focusing on the negative aspects of our lives. But when we practice gratitude, we shift our attention to the positive things. For example, instead of complaining about your small apartment, you can be grateful that you have a roof over your head. Instead of complaining about your job, you can be thankful that you have a way to earn money. Gratitude helps us see the good in our lives and reduces the urge to complain. Stoicism also teaches us to be mindful of our thoughts and words. When we complain, we are often speaking without thinking. We let our emotions control us. But the Stoics believe that we should think before we speak. Before you complain, ask yourself, is this complaint helpful? Will it change anything? If the answer is no, then it's better to stay silent. By being mindful of our words, we can avoid unnecessary complaints and focus on solutions instead. Another Stoic idea is to remember that everything is temporary. The things we complain about today will not last forever. For example, if you're stuck in traffic, remind yourself that it's only temporary. The traffic will eventually clear, and you will reach your destination. By remembering that everything is temporary, we can stay calm and patient, even in difficult situations. The Stoics also believe that we should not compare ourselves to others. When we compare ourselves to others, we often feel jealous or unhappy. We complain about what we don't have, instead of appreciating what we do have. But everyone's life is different, and we can't control what others have or do. Instead of comparing yourself to others, focus on your own journey and your own progress. Be proud of what you've achieved, no matter how small it may seem. The Stoic challenge is not easy. It takes practice and effort to stop complaining and face life's challenges with strength and calmness. But the rewards are worth it. When we stop complaining, we feel happier and more at peace. We become stronger and more resilient. We learn to accept the things we cannot change and focus on what we can control. We see challenges as opportunities to grow and improve. We practice gratitude and mindfulness. We remember that everything is temporary and that we should not compare ourselves to others. The Stoic challenge is about living a good life, no matter what happens. So, how can you start the Stoic challenge? First, pay attention to your thoughts and words. Notice when you start to complain and ask yourself if it's helpful. They say you then practice gratitude. Every day, think about 3 things you are grateful for. Third, prepare for difficulties in advance. Imagine the worst-case scenarios and think about how you would handle them. Fourth, focus on what you can control and let go of what you can't. Finally, see challenges as opportunities to grow and learn. Remember, the Stoic challenge is not about being perfect. It's about making progress. You will still face difficulties and feel the urge to complain. But with practice, you can learn to respond to life's challenges with strength and calmness. You can stop complaining and start living a better life. The Stoic challenge is a journey, and every step you take brings you closer to a happier and more peaceful life. So, take the first step today. Stop complaining and start embracing the Stoic challenge. You have the power to change your life, one thought, one word, and one action at a time.